First came to know Kurt as a 16-year-old high school student with an osteogenic sarcoma of his tibia.
Dr. Goodman, who did his amputation and took care of him for years, I worked with him for 28 years. So Kurt was my patient.
I went from, getting straight A's and lettering in 2 sports to you might lose your leg and you might die.
And subsequently, he became orthopedic resident here. And then he went on to his fellowship and came back and got a job here, and now he's my boss. I was cracking up when I saw him.
He is a clinical orthopedic oncologist, so he is doing the surgery for tumor, but he is also a first-class researcher.
His passion for this relates to what he went through as a patient. It was an experimental drug that saved his life.
Turns out that a lot of the preliminary data came from dogs. The drug was MTPPE. So when we say cancer research saves lives, that is not some pie in the sky ideal. That is not some platitude that I tell myself to make myself feel better, or that I tell my patients or their families so that they will feel better. That is reality. That is my reality. I am alive because I participated in a sarcoma experiment, period. And that is why that whole story is germane to what I'm doing now. I wake up and go to sleep every day thinking about how to put an end to osteosarcoma pulmonary metastases. When something is so important to you that it makes up part of who you are. As a surgeon and a scientist, selling that to my teams is very important. When we're looking after patients with sarcoma in the clinic, bringing that passion and that love to the patient and their families, whether they got 2 legs or 4, and bringing the passion to the lab is very important. This is not an academic exercise. I try to make a big deal when I'm in lab meetings about my patients.
I just found out my first sarcoma survivor to have a baby, Lizzie Dodds, is pregnant with her second now. So I'm gonna have another sarcoma survivor baby. Yay.
They were the first to know when my first osteosarcoma survivor had her baby.
He had checked me over and everything, and he was like, okay, we need to have a serious talk. And for me, I was nervous. Like, I'm at the doctor's, we're talking about my leg and everything, and I'm like, oh God, like, what is he gonna say? And he grabs my hand and he's like, I need you to find a nice guy, settle down, and start having my sarcoma survivor grandbabies. And I'm 20 or 21, I wasn't expecting that conversation to be a thing. He wants everyone to have that possibility.
The other end of that experiment, there's a person, or there's a dog, or there's both. So clearly, we need new tricks. Things like the losartan trial that you guys are starting, we need to think in different directions. And the way you maximize that is by maximizing the collaboration between the human folks and the canine folks, and by making sure that not a pet goes by, not a kid goes by without being on a study of some kind where you can learn something.